Welcome to my channel. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this video I will be going over the energy of this lunar eclipse that we are having May 5th of 2023. For the first portion of this video, I will be going into the general energy, trends and themes, and then the second portion of this video, I will go into all 12 rising signs. That way, this allows you to get an idea of how this energy is showing up for you personally. If you align with my energy and you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. So let's get right into it. This full moon lunar eclipse is at 14 degrees of Scorpio. Now, the interesting thing about this lunar eclipse is that it actually moves into 15 degrees. So it comes exact by minute at 14 degrees, 58 minutes of Scorpio. But then the moon and the sun will both shift into 15 degrees, which is then bringing that energy, that ecliptic energy, into that next degree point. And so you really want to know if you have any personal planets or points around 14, 15, 16, and even 12 and 13 degrees of Scorpio or any of the fixed signs, because this is really going to hit you a lot harder, more drastically, where energy is coming up or people, experiences, situations coming up, having you have to look at energy that still needs to be worked through. This is also an eclipse. And so eclipses bring in very sudden changes, very karmic and fated changes that completely shift our direction into a new direction. So this is a time where if we think something is going to go one way or the outcome is going to be a certain way, it usually almost never is, and there's some type of shift or change that comes in, completely redirecting us into new energy, new experience, and new experiences. I also want to note that with this eclipse, we have been with the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, and the nodes are a representation of the eclipses. That's where we have, so wherever the nodes are is the sign that we have the eclipses in. So the North Node has been in Taurus, the South Node has been in Scorpio since February of 2022. In July, the nodes are shifting signs. I will be posting a video about that and going into all 12 signs so that you can see how this nodal change will affect you. The eclipses are then going to be shifting signs. So this is the last eclipse we are having in Scorpio until 2031. And then even in 2031, we will not have the South Node in Scorpio. We will have the North Node in Scorpio. And the South Node is all about letting go, releasing. This is an energy that we are moving out of, and the North Node is the energy that we are moving into in this lifetime. So this fated karmic energy that comes in with these nodes in these areas of life redirects us in the direction that we need to go in as a part of our journey, as a part of our purpose, and it's fated, it's karmic. So this is energy with this lunar eclipse that this is going to trigger a letting go. This is really going to trigger a final releasing of something, whatever you've been moving through since February of 2022. This is finally ending that cycle, releasing that energy for good so that you can move on. In the fall, we will have another eclipse in Taurus, which finally ends this Taurus-Scorpio cycle. But what I want to bring up, which I don't hear a lot of people bringing up, is the fact that it's ending partially now, because this is the last eclipse in Scorpio. So whatever you've been moving through in the Scorpio area of your life, which we will get into when we go into all 12 rising signs, this is there, whatever is left that needs to be released, whatever you've been moving through, especially during this eclipse season. This eclipse season has brought up more to the story, more to what you've been moving through since February of 2022. So whatever is shown up for you during this eclipse season since April, the middle of April, there's more of that coming up that needs to be released. So it's something to be aware of. Anything that you're moving through, any old emotions or feelings or intuitive downloads that you're receiving, guiding you towards something where you feel like there's a final need to let go, to move on into this next step of your journey. It's going to be very intense for that this week and even into next week. Now, because these eclipse points are going to be activated again by Jupiter when Jupiter enters Taurus, this eclipse energy is going to play out well into June. So we will be moving through this energy that the eclipse is bringing up for us until we get into June, into the middle of June, because of the other activations that will be activating those eclipse points. This eclipse will also be forming an in conjunction to Chiron. So the moon will be forming an in conjunction to Chiron at 17 degrees of Aries. And I really wanted to bring this up because Chiron represents our traumas, our wounds, and a part of our healing journey. And so this energy that is coming in, showing us what we need to release and let go of, is also showing up because there can be some type of unconscious attachment, energetic attachment to someone or something, an experience that can be blocking you from taking those next steps in your healing journey. So this is also very interesting. So again, we really want to pay attention to the energy, the people that are showing up at this time, because there's energy around them or around whatever's showing up that's saying there's something still here that needs to be worked through and released because it's holding you back in some way. Also, during this eclipse, the sun will be right in the middle of Uranus and Mercury retrograde. So this can really show up as sudden insight towards the next steps that you are supposed to be taking on your journey or need to take to let things go, release attachments, or even intuitive insights into what direction you need to take on this either healing journey or whatever it is that you are currently moving through. Whatever energy the eclipse has brought up for you, whether it's relationships or some personal venture that you are starting at this time, or ideas that you are getting at this time. So Uranus, the energy around Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. And with Mercury being retrograde, this energy can become internalized. Now for natal Mercury retrograde people, this energy will feel a lot more easier. This can really come in a form as sudden insight. And for individuals that don't natally have Mercury retrograde, this can create a little bit, the energy just doesn't flow in as easy. It can actually be a little bit more confusing or feel a little bit more confusing as to what steps you need to take. And with Uranus being so sudden and where it's really sporadic, it's a very sudden. So we really want to be journaling at this time. We really want to be paying attention while you're driving or whatever, what insights you're getting. I don't know about you, but I know when I'm driving, I have to carry a notebook with me. I get so much intuitive downloads and insight during driving. And of course, I pull over and I will write down whatever is coming to me. But I really suggest doing that at this time because, like, even starting now, I am recording this on the 2nd of May and I will be posting it as soon as I'm done. But even now, we are feeling the buildup. So whatever is coming to you now, we want to be writing this down. We want to be paying attention because these are ideas that have this energy behind them that can go far, that can be long lived. This is the next step of your journey, what you are supposed to be stepping into now. Now let's get into the forecast for all 12 rising signs. If you align with my energy, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Aries, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 8th house. This is closing out whatever energy, situations, experiences you have been moving through since February of 2022 when the South Node entered your 8th house. So whatever has been ongoing for you around partners' finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, even psychological healing. This lunar eclipse is going to bring up any energy around that where you need to look at it and see what needs to be moved through and let go in order to release and move forward into these next steps of your journey. Taurus, you have this lunar eclipse happening in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, close personal connections, and you've had the South Node moving through your 7th house and the North Node moving through your 1st house since February of 2022, stirring energy up and really bringing things up when it comes to your relationships, what you're giving to others, setting personal boundaries. So this lunar eclipse is activating any energy around you and your relationships so that you can finally look at and set your boundaries between you and others. This is also going to activate energy around knowing and understanding who is no longer in alignment with you anymore, and finally releasing that energy or those energetic attachments. Gemini, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 6th house. So the 6th house represents health, work, and daily routine. Also your nutrition habits. So you've had the South Node in Scorpio in your 6th house since February of 2022. So whatever energy you have been moving through since February of 2022, when it has to do with your nutrition, your health, your work, or your daily routine, there's a closing out period now. The lunar eclipse is activating a final knowing or understanding of what you need to release and let go of, and what you need to bring in when it has to do with those themes and topics. Cancer, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 5th house of play and passion, creativity, and children. So whatever energy you have been moving through around these themes and topics since February of 2022, this is a releasing, a closing out period, a final understanding and knowing of what needs to be released in order to move forward. So anything that's been going on around your children or having children, or creativity, whatever you've been trying to move into, this lunar eclipse is activating clarity around these next steps. Maybe something that you want to create, or maybe a final releasing and letting go of something that is just no longer in alignment with you, even when it has to do with parenting and moving into something new that is in alignment with you. Leo, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 4th house of home, family, property, and parents. So whatever energy you have been moving through since February of 2022, this lunar eclipse is activating more energy around that, bringing in clarity of what needs to be released. Anything you've been moving through where you've been unsure, maybe there's energetic attachments, or maybe this has to do with moving or with your home, of something that you've been confused about. This lunar eclipse is activating where you will have energy coming in where you finally know what needs to be released and let go of in order to take these next steps when it comes to these themes and topics. Virgo, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 3rd house of community, neighbors, siblings, cousins, also communicating, speaking, writing, or publishing. So this lunar eclipse is activating more energy, whatever you have been moving through since February of 2022 around these themes and topics. The lunar eclipse is bringing in new energy around that, where you will finally have a knowing and understanding of what needs to be released and let go of in order for you to take these next steps in your journey when it has to do with those themes and topics. So whatever you've been trying to get going, or whatever you've been sitting with around communicating, or siblings, community, neighbors, any of those themes and topics, there's energy coming in, bringing clarity where you will finally know and understand what needs to be let go of. Libra, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your second house of money, finances, material possessions. The second house also represents our self value and our self worth and even our view and attitude towards money. So the South Node has been in your second house since February of 2022, activating energy around finances, material possessions, money. So this lunar eclipse is activating more of that energy, bringing in almost some clarity and understanding of what needs to finally be released and let go of so that you can start taking these new steps on your journey towards what it is that your soul truly wants when it comes to your finances, whether it is even starting something new that can really bring in some stable money and long-lived financial gains. So it's really, really nice, Libra. You want to pay attention to what is showing up for you because you will have a better understanding of what needs to be let go of to move forward. Scorpio, you have this lunar eclipse happening in your first house of you, your personality, your character, your physical body, and how you view this reality. So since February of 2022, you've been going through a lot of changes when it comes to you and who you are and your personal relationships. So this lunar eclipse is really activating more of that energy where you are finally going to know what it is you truly want, what needs to be let go of in order to take these next steps on your journey for whatever it is that you are moving into. So this can even show up as knowing and understanding maybe who is no longer in alignment with you, who you need to release in order to move into this new version of you. So you really want to pay attention to who and what is showing up for you at this time, and you want to have an awareness of how you're feeling and the energy around who is showing up for you. Sagittarius, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 12th house of spirituality, places that are hidden, self-undoing, and isolation. The 12th house also has to do with past lives and karma. So there is energy that you have been moving through since February of 2022 that is being activated. So whatever you have been moving through around these themes and topics since February of 2022, there's going to be a final knowing and understanding of what you have to release that is no longer in alignment with you, whether it is to take these next steps on your spiritual journey, or if you are doing any past life regression, or even karmic energy, a final releasing and knowing of old karmic cycles that you're just done with. So pay attention to what is showing up at this time. Pay attention to how you are feeling and the energy around what is showing up. That will give you clarity on what truly needs to be let go of in order to move into this new energy. Capricorn, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 11th house of social groups, friends, friendships. So whatever energy you have been moving through since February of 2022 around your friends, your friendships, your social groups, even online connections, there's going to be an activation of more of this energy where whatever you have been moving through, you will finally have a knowing and understanding of what needs to be released and let go of for good in order to take these next steps in your journey into this new you. So whatever energy you've been moving through around those themes and topics, you want to know and understand and have that awareness of the energy coming in, because this can even be showing up as a knowing and understanding of who is no longer in alignment when it comes to your online connections or friendships. So definitely pay attention at this time to see what is coming up so that you know and understand what needs to finally be released and let go of. Aquarius, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, and the legacy you leave behind. So whatever energy you have been moving through since February of 2022, when it has to do with your career and your home, because the nodes shifted into Taurus and Scorpio in February of 22, creating a need for balance in these areas of your life. So the energy you have been moving through when it comes to your work, there's there's more of that energy being activated where maybe you finally get clarity in knowing what you need to release and let go of in order to start this new chapter, take this new venture, or step into whatever has been on your mind and whatever you've been moving through during this period of time. Pisces, you have this lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 9th house of higher education, wisdom, higher knowledge, your belief systems, religion, traveling. So whatever energy you've been moving through since February of 2022, when this energy in this house was first activated, there's more activations around that. So whatever you've been moving through that has to do with those themes and topics, there's going to be energy activated where you finally know and understand the next steps you need to take in your journey around those themes and topics, and also what needs to be let go of and released in order for you to take that next step on your journey when it has to do with higher education or traveling or your belief systems.